So years ago, I had the unfortunate pleasure of working with a clown who's still a handicapper in this business. He used to always yell out in this crummy, little, annoying voice that would remind you of fingernails going up against a chalkboard. Oh, you got to go with the dogs. The dogs are the way to go. Big games, play the dogs. Well, how did that work out last night, huh? 4 favorites, 4 double-digit blowouts. But you know what? It's all cyclical. It doesn't mean anything. That's the bottom line, guys. Listen, Monday Night Football this past year, the dog. Week after week, the dog, the dog, the dog. Yet if you go back to 1992, the dogs and the favorites Monday night, pretty much even, break-even proposition. It's all cyclical. What it is, however, is selective memory. When a favorite covers, you go, When an underdog covers, it makes an impression. When an underdog wins outright, it makes a bigger impression. When an underdog that's getting double digits wins a nationally televised game, can you say Middle Tennessee State? That's all you remember. It's selective memory. It's what impresses you the most. Now, the reality is yesterday in the video report, I told you that last year in the round of 16, the favorites went 6-2 against the spread. Well, gee, now they're 10-2 against the spread over the past 2 years. Does that mean we should jump on every single favorite tonight? Let me just remind you, as I pointed out in yesterday's video report as well, that the underdogs were 12-4 against the spread the previous 2 years. 12-4 against the spread, 10-2 run this past 2 years. Again, it is all cyclical. Now, the fact remains that currently the favorites have an advantage here in the tournament. If you include the first 4 games, the play-in games, the favorites are 31, 23, and 2 against the spread, with 11 of those underdogs winning outright. And I've got complimentary plays coming your way here in just a moment on a couple of games involving ACC clubs, because every single game has an ACC member in it, doesn't it? I'm going to take a look at the United Center clash between Virginia and Iowa State. And then your marquee attraction from Philadelphia, Scotty May and Bobby Knight. And the Indiana... Oh, is that the wrong game? Yeah, that was 1976, wasn't it? You've got the Indiana Hoosiers taking on North Carolina, and I'm going to break down that game for you as well. Quick props going out to all the handicappers that I featured yesterday as huge discounted plays because they all won. Anthony Redd, a 4th straight 100-dimer since Sunday as he scored with Oregon, getting the job done against Duke. Also, Trace Adams, yet another Double Your Wager 2000 star winner. He cashes again last night with Kansas over Maryland. His round of 16 Game of the Year Part 1. Part 2 goes tonight, Iowa State and Virginia. It's his Double Your Wager winner number 2, or 2000 star winner number 26 out of 34 and 10 out of 11. You save $60 again by using coupon code ADAMS, A-D-A-M-S. Steve Boudin's Cali Cartel. A 6th consecutive 100-dime winner last night, Oklahoma. A lot of people in Texas A&M last night. How did that turn out, huh? They cashed in. You know, tonight they're going for 100-dime winner number 10 out of 11. You've got in every single one of those 100-dime releases this season at a huge discount. Same thing goes again today. Save $55. The coupon code is 100 dimes. But the big play here, and this is kind of ironic. So I find out what the plays are from the handicappers as the emails start coming through customer service, and I read them. And, you know, these guys are scattered all across the country. So I see today that Scott Delaney, you know, me and him, we're gumbas, we're pals. 100-dime plays over the past 5 years on all sports. 108 wins, 73 losses, and 2 pushes. He has the second ever 150-dime college basketball play of his career. And he is one of the charter members of the site over 12 years now, almost 13 years now. He's been at this site along one of the first guys that we hired, okay? He has his second ever 150-dime play tonight on Gonzaga and Syracuse. He won his only other 150-dime play last year, Final Four, Duke crushing Michigan State by 20 points. But here's the thing. About an hour later, I get an email. I see Jeff Benton. Jeff Benton, a guy who has won 26 of the past 40 days. A guy who has won 15 out of 21 100-dime max wager releases. He has the 6th ever 150-dime play of his career. Gonzaga and Syracuse. I go back and check Delaney's play. They're on the exact same team tonight. I don't know if these guys have ever spoken to each other. It's not like we have a handicapper convention and all these guys, hey, well, let's go meet in Vegas and hang out for the night. Most of these guys don't even like each other. Okay. Hell, I don't even like half of them. But we move on. So it's kind of interesting. It's a consensus play. That's a heads up for you. And I tell you that because A, I want you to know they're on the same side. And B, if you have a package with Delaney, you know what Benton has and vice versa. Anyway, It's the big play, and I made it the half price play of the day. And you can get it for half price by using the coupon code 150DANCE. That's 150DANCE. Repeat after me, 150 DANCE. Okay, let's get to your complimentary plays. We'll run them in reverse chronological order for you. I'm going to take North Carolina. This game is anywhere from 5 to 5.5 points. 99% of the time I say play the favorites early, but I think in this particular spot you would be wise if you're going to be betting this game tonight, which I'm not. That's why it's a free play. I think the best bet tonight is actually the Wisconsin-Notre Dame game. Listen, you wait, because I think the public is going to keep coming in here and grabbing the points with Indiana, and you're probably going to be able to push this game down to somewhere around 5 points. So why pay that extra half point if you don't need to? The sole reason that I like North Carolina here tonight is because remember when Indiana got into a game, a transition game with Michigan State and got their doors blown out in East Lansing about a month and a half ago? I mean, absolutely run over by Denzel Valentine and the Spartans 88-69. And then if you go back further, early season game against Duke, a Duke team that was healthier than it is now and had a little more depth. Same thing. Duke ran up and down the floor 94-74. For Indiana to win, they've got to run the floor. Problem is, that's North Carolina's game. And as the season has progressed, Roy Williams has also shown you that, his lineup is not necessarily cast in stone. Yes, they go big. And why not go big? Because when you have Bryce Johnson and Kennedy Meeks along the front line, and Isaiah Hicks, you go big. But they've also had success going small this season as well. You are an Indiana team. You've got to run the floor. It's the only way you can win this game. You are playing right into North Carolina's wheelhouse here. North Carolina's guards, Marcus Page, Joel Berry III, I think that they have the defensive presence. And after playing so many good guards in the ACC, I think that they will be able to do a good enough job on Yogi Ferrell of Indiana here tonight. And that's why I like North Carolina. You can recite all the other stats and blah, blah, blah that you want to, but I just go back to those two games, but specifically the Michigan State game for Indiana. Plus, I'll throw one other thing for you. This is a Hoosiers team that's only, a couple of games removed from getting bounced by Michigan in the Big Ten tournament, right? This is a Hoosiers team that didn't do that well when they weren't playing in Bloomington this season. 17-0 at home, but not so spectacular anywhere else. So I'll go with North Carolina and lay the points. I'm also going to back Virginia, another ACC team tonight, minus the 5.5. No, actually up to 6 now against Iowa State. This Iowa State team can put points on the board, but this Iowa State team plays absolutely no defense. Now, you look at their defensive numbers, and you have to honestly say to yourself, okay, they are somewhat inflated because they played in an up-tempo offensive conference in the Big 12. But this is an Iowa State team that still gives up 75 points a game. And Virginia, of course, is going to put the screws to you defensively. But what the Cavaliers have shown you this time, for really the first time in Tony Bennett's tenure, is that they have some offensive firepower. Now, they crushed Hampton in the first round game, 81-45. Used a huge surge in the second half to stop Butler. 54 points in that second half game, in the second half of that game to win it 77-69. Iowa State beat Arkansas Little Rock. Or Iowa State should beat Arkansas Little Rock. When you come from the Big 12 and you're taking on a Sun Belt Conference team, you better beat Arkansas Little Rock. And, listen, they took care of business against Iona. When you are from the Big 12 and you're taking on a team from the MAC, you ought to be able to win that game easily as well. Yet they struggled at times against Iona, even though they opened up a double-digit lead early. So in this game, 6 points, I still think it's worth the investment, and I would go with Virginia. So a couple of ACC favorites, Virginia and North Carolina are going to be your complimentary plays. That'll do it, guys. Best of luck to you all, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow when we do this one more time.